Okay. Hello, Crush Erotic Con people. So nice to meet you virtually. And if I ever see you in person at another event, otherwise. I want to thank Skylar and Sunny for putting this together and for having me on and giving me this opportunity to meet all of you. I know how much work goes into one of these things, and I appreciate it. So thank you so much, Skylar and Sunny, which are both very peppy, fun names, by the way. I am a paranormal, uh, I write paranormal romance. I just wrote a contemporary rom-com. I call it my love letter to first-time romance authors and middle-aged women looking for their glow up. So that's a new I have 3 books in my paranormal romance series. I planned on 6 books for that, and that's the Shifters of Mohegan Falls. The first book is Red August, and it's this book right here. This is my new romantasy cover. Um, and it is a small town paranormal romance where with werewolves, set. It's sort of a Red Riding Hood inspired telling. So, and it's got spicy bits. It's not, I wouldn't call it erotica because it's not erotica all the way through. It's a tale, paranormal shifter romance with spicy bits. So and then the book that's about to come out is Fire at Romanticon. And this follows Peach Kincaid on her midlife first time romance author journey. So that one's got a lot of the regular sort of like cinnamon roll model guy. Uh, it's fun. It's not as heavy as the fairy tale series that I did. I just wanted something that was kind of light and summery, and that one will be coming out very soon. It's available for pre-order on my website. That's really the only place you can pre-order it right now, but it'll be out wide probably in a few weeks. This one is available at all the usual places. Plus, you could get a signed copy from my website if you would like it. I'm going to do a little reading from this one, and from the one of the naughty bits. And anybody that would like to try for a book box, I'm doing a book box giveaway for Crush attendees. I will drop the link in the chat here, but if you don't want to go away from the chat, I've hidden the link on my first page of my website under my coloring book description. So if you just go to my website, which is hlbrooks.com, super easy, and scroll down past the Yoni coloring, the vulva coloring book, it's underneath that. You can find the form there if you don't want to navigate away from this or worry about being kicked out. But I'm going to drop the link in here now. You can copy it, paste it, or send it to yourself or whatever. So if you fill that out, you'll be entered to win a book box, and you get to choose, whoever wins gets to choose whether they want to get the new A Fire at Romanticon, if this is your vibe, or if you would like a copy of the Red August. So either of those. I'm going to read I wanted to also show you guys this fun bookmark I got. I don't sell these, but look how fun, and she doesn't sell them anymore, but look at this fun bookmark, y'all. Her boobs mark the page. Isn't that adorable? Anywho, all right, I do go on. I'm just going to read a little bit. So I'm excited about this new book because I got to add a little bit. I know some people have super duper fancy insides to their books. Mine's a little fancy. It's got like some turn here, like a little bit of this kind of thing in it, which is fun because when I first published this book back in 2015, you couldn't do all that very easily in yourself when you self-publish. So I was super excited to be able to update this book. Content's been added to it too, and like I said, this is the new romantasy cover. So all right, well, I'm going to read a kind of a spicy scene from the first chapter. There's a prologue, and then there's the first chapter. So here we go. Okay, I'm gonna take a sip of water. Does anybody have any questions before I move on to reading? I just blah out a lot of stuff just now. Does anybody have any questions? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead on with reading then. It's a chapter 1, Red Birthday. It's a clear night. A sky of indigo velvet is sprayed with stars that wink and peek beyond tangles of leafless branches. A hunter's moon, pinky orange and bright, dapples the path in shards and pools of light. She hears her heartbeat in her ears as she tries to outrun the beast. Her bare feet pound the peaty earth. A red cape billows out behind her. Dry leaves scatter in her wake. She hazards a glance over her shoulder, seeing nothing but inky blackness. When she turns forward again, he is there, standing in her path, 6 feet tall or more, lean and covered in fur with a canine snout and glowing eyes. The mongrel stands on hind legs, reaching out with paws like gnarled hands, flexing his shining claws. Even at a distance, she can see his erect cock in the moonlight. Like the rest of him, it is part wolf, sheathed in downy skin and almost manlike, with the pink end standing tall and powerful. She pulls her cape around her to cover her nakedness, a thin veil offering no protection beyond a small measure of modesty. She pants with fear, but there's also an ache, low in her belly, creeping down between her thighs. The creature speaks in a commanding growl. Take off your cape, girl. A shiver runs through her body. She tugs at the bow around the base of her throat until the crimson silk slips free, clinging and caressing her body as it floats to the earth. She stands pale and naked in the moonlight, her breasts proud and her nipples erect, her flesh pricked and alert to every breeze. She trembles, and her breathing comes in tiny gasps. The creature drops onto all fours and leaps towards her, a snarling blur covering the 20 feet between them in one bound. He stands tall beside her, breathing hot into her ear. He reaches for her, and she does not flinch. She wants him to touch her. She can't even remember why she was running. He lifts her in one motion effortlessly. He cradles her for a moment, looking down at her face, and then lowers her onto the silk and moss and leaves. He stands on all fours, making a canopy of fur and muscle over her. Her breath catches, her flesh tingles with a longing both startling and overwhelming. There's an urge to rub against him that lifts her hips. And that's where I'm going to stop. Um, this story has dream sequences. If you don't like dream sequences, I'm just warning you, because part of the story is that she's going through what we think is kind of like a puberty, but she's a werewolf, so it's not exactly the same. So she keeps having all these erotic dreams, and she can't understand why. She's fixated on certain people and things like that. So I'm going to read you the description on the back. Red August, Shifters of Mohegan Falls, book 1. Like I said, there are 3 books out right now. Red Hunter and Red Archer are the next 2. And they're set in Maryland. I don't know. I'm not sure. Like a lot of the things that I attend are in the East Coast area. So if you like small town, it does that. But if you're in particular on the East Coast, or if you're in the Maryland area, there's going to be things you recognize in my series, because there's Baltimore and there's DC and all those kinds of things. So, because I live not far from DC, I live kind of between DC and Baltimore and Annapolis. So that features prominently. I also like to write in the 1970s and the 1980s for various reasons, because those were the times that I was coming of age, but also because I like, in general, not having to deal with things like cell phones, which of course features in this story. Just Instagram and those things are in this story, but in this story, it's set in the 80s, so we don't have cell phones at that time. So, Red August, Shifters of Mohegan Falls, book 1. Small town, fated mates, age gap, erotic romance. What if you found out you were descended from a long line of clandestine fighters and that your family is still at war, or that the love of your life is something other than he appears to be? August Archer thinks she's an average teenage girl who also happens to have disturbing and sexy dreams about werewolves. Still grieving over the loss of her father and confused about his final gift of a red hooded cloak, August is uprooted from her New York City apartment to the tiny town of Mohegan Falls, Maryland. There she meets a cast of characters that hold clues to her past, including her new neighbor, an enigmatic, fascinating man who refuses to talk to her. But when August's grandmother starts to weave a strange and unbelievable tale of werewolves and hunters, she realizes that the man of her dreams may be her family's oldest enemy in this modern day Red Riding Hood story. I'm going to read you in case if you're going to try and win one of the book boxes, I'm going to also read the back of this one in case you prefer this book once I have it out, but paperback. So what you get in the mail will be a paperback, a signed paperback, and you'll get like, bookmarks, stickers. Sometimes I put my favorite teas in there, that kind of thing. So that's what this book is about. So if you want to do the book box, when whoever wins, I'll contact you and you can decide if you would like this book. Or let me get another drink. Did anybody have any questions about that book or the reading?
I would like to say that I'm not such a big fan of paranormal, but that was amazing. And I was very disappointed where you left off. I was ready for more.
Okay. Well, fortunately, it is in book format. You can get it in ebook or in paperback, and you can, of course, also maybe you'll win a book box. But thank you. I appreciate that. I think most of us authors really enjoy that kind of feedback. So thank you so much. It's sometimes when you're having a dark day and you just feel like there's no point in writing one more story, you try to remember things like that. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. So A Fire at Romanticon is a steamy contemporary rom-com. Sometimes midlife comes at you fast, and you can either wallow in your own self-pity or do something besides sitting around in your panties, drinking whiskey, eating ice cream, and sobbing. Peach Kincaid saw years of marriage dissolve in a single moment, along with her already waning dreams of being a romance author. That is, until her bestie Marnie talks her into taking a small stack of her debut novel, Grace and Edging, Shades of Passion series, book 1, to the Romanticon she'd signed up for on a lark, certain she wouldn't get into the same event that her favorite author, Rose Ramble, was headlining. With nothing left to lose, Peach sets off for the event, knowing she'll probably chicken out at the hotel check-in. At the evening party after the signing, Peach is feeling utterly un-Instagrammable and un-TikTokable until her usual clumsiness pays off for the first time in her life when, after a minor catastrophe, one of the male cover models at Romanticon steps in and saves the day. Still married and feeling like a fish out of water, Peach must now navigate an uncertain future in both the career she desperately wants and the hunky model who fans the embers of her passion into flames. So you don't have to be middle-aged to enjoy this, but I think you get an extra kick out of it if you are. If you like going to romanticons or romance events, or if you like any of that world, it's all in there. The tabling, the evening party, all of it's in there. So if you would prefer this, whoever wins the book box, I will just see whether you want this or the werewolf fiction. So yeah, and I love fairy tales. My next book that's coming out, for those of you who also read non-spicy books, I have a book coming out in the fall that is a witchy not romance, witchy mystery. It's like a small town set in the 70s, witchy mystery, like a sort of Scooby-Doo-ish. I like to say it's Murder, She Wrote meets Bewitched. So that is also coming up, but there's no steam or spice in that at all. So I'm trying my hands that. Oh, and one more project I hope to finish before the end of the year is a fortnight of fairy tales, 14 short erotic bedtime stories. So that's going to be 14 fairy tales. And I just don't know which ones they're going to be. I mean, I have a list of the ones I want it to be, and I've already written a few of them, but I want 14, and it's harder to write 14 short variations on something than you would think it would be, but I'm really looking forward to that project. I think it's a lot of fun. So thank you again, everybody, for having me, and I appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Well, thanks
It
again.
actually looks like there's some questions in the chat.
Oh, are you a pantser or a plotter? I am a plantser. So I like to I used to be all well, I used to be all pantser, and I've learned that following like the Save the Cat beat sheet and things like that help me. I never get writer's block, but I do sometimes get stuck with what, like what should happen next, exactly precisely what should happen next. So I like having that sort of like, this is what the best friend should come in, or there should be a little catastrophe or whatever. I like that little nudge if I want to follow it. I'm not super formulaic. So if you like really formulaic fiction, I'm probably not the best read for you. If you like something a little different or quirky, or that isn't as formulaic. I know some people like comfort, I mean, of course my romances all have happily ever afters and happy for now. So that is not formula. That part's formulaic, but yeah, I'm a plantser, so I like to do both. It's just changed over the years. So my first book I published in 10 years. The first book I wrote that never got published, I wrote 20 years ago, and that was a serial murder mystery. So plenty of little rejection letters put me off writing for a little while. So, how that back in the early 2Ks, it was very hard to publish your own work. So I got enough rejection letters, was put off writing for quite a while. And then I came back, I was like, I think I can write erotica. And then I ended up writing, because I wrote I wrote a short story back in the late 90s that got published in Playgirl. And so when I came back to writing again, and I got $100 for that, and it was like this long, and I was like, oh,
Oh, wow.
that was fun. And I was like, that was fun. I maybe I could do that. So when I came back to writing, I didn't go for murder again. I went for romance. Well, I went for erotica, but it turned in. So I started to write this as erotica, but I couldn't stick to the genre. I kept wanting to add strong female characters and people different ages and a backstory line that was dramatic. And so it turned into this. So
You have
thank
another question. Do you write short stories or would you?
I do write short stories. I have a short story in I beg your pardon. Let me grab this. Now this was Cleese Press is one example. There I have a short story in this book. Can you all see that? I have a short story in that book called Dot's Pearls, set in the 1940s. And if you like short stories, there are lots of Cleese Press puts out a lot of these short story books. I don't sell these on my website and stuff. I just link to them because you get paid for this kind of anthology. I got paid just the one time, so I don't get royalties or anything, but it is good to have people, to refer people to that if they want to see what my short stories are like. And I will be writing the Fortnight of Fairy Tales soon. Thank you so much, Skylar, for having me on. And
Oh,
I don't know,
yeah.
Sunny, is that
I
Sunny?
think she's in paranormal right now.
Well, thanks, Sunny, so much for me. And I will send you a thank you note as well.
Yeah, no, we're so glad to have you. Does anyone else have any questions before I stop the recording? All right.